When we were all sort of been away for quite a long time, what have you
Mhm.
guys been up to?
Um,
Long, long time as well.
yeah, well, we split up. I was I was in it with so the guys that are in it now weren't in it at the time we broke up.
Yeah,
There were different members at the time, and then yeah, it had just kind of run its course at the time. Like it wasn't sort of the band that it was when I first started there, and it just sort of run its course. And I had no intentions of getting it back together. Really, it was kind of done, and that was it.
yeah,
And then I bumped into our original guitarist Ben. Um, he was playing a show with like his other band at the time. And then yeah, we just got chatting. We were just like, "Oh, do you like miss doing heavy music?" Because I'm in a pop punk band. So we were sort of speaking. We're like, "Yeah, we miss it." And so we just got together and like started writing, not with the intention of getting walls back together. And then yeah, it was just one of those things. I think we got together a couple of times and we were like, oh, this stuff's too good not to get it back together. So then yeah, we got our other guitarist Jay. Ben knew him through touring, so we got him in, and then we found our drummer Chris, and then yeah, it's all happened really quickly, to be honest with you. But it sort of feels like, even though it's new members and it's been quite a while, it sort of feels like, yeah, it feels like it always has, really, but better. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, this is the best it's ever felt. It just feels so nice and creative, and just loads of good vibes. No like
yeah,
stress or anything.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's
that
really good.
sounds good.
Yeah, definitely.
And you've just been on tour. You've been out with Crushed by Waves and Within Reach. How was that tour? I saw some pictures and videos online. It did look really fun.
Yeah, do you know what? It was it was awesome. Like, we weren't sure what to expect, obviously, because we've been away for a while. But no, all the shows were really good. Like, we didn't have one bad show. Whereas, especially when you're a band of our size, I mean, like, sometimes you can play to loads of people, other times you can literally play into the other bands and the same guy.
Yeah,
But we didn't have any of those shows, and yeah, it all just went really good. Like, it was the first time we had all played together as this lineup. Um, so we were sort of a little bit nervous about that and making sure things were like going to work. But yeah, it was amazing. And Crushed by Waves uh, are awesome dudes. I mean, I'm repping them now.
yeah,
Um, yeah, they're really cool dudes. Like, I played with them before my other band, so they were great to be out with, and we shared a van with them.
yeah,
So that was quite nice. And then yeah, within there was a band called Glass Grave on the first couple of dates. They were really cool. And then yeah, Within Reach, who are like this insane band. They're all like 16 and 17, and we watched them sound check and we were like, whoa. Like, I know I wasn't in bands that good when I was that age. Like, so
yeah.
yeah, it was really good. We had a wicked time. So good.
Yeah, I thought the photos looked really good because I think people think these days a lot of local shows it's just not going to have a big turnout. And then I saw those photos, but actually that looks really fun. There's so much going on in these photos and
Yeah,
videos.
it was good. It was really good. Sorry, let me shut the door. The dogs are going mad. Yeah, it was really good. It was we really enjoyed it. Like, it was the perfect like first like runner shows back for us. Like, everything was just great. Like I said, nice. But do you know what I mean? Crushed by Waves, they're such a good band, and they're lovely guys as well. So yeah, it was like I don't know, just like a big family holiday. It was wicked. We had a
Yeah.
wicked time.
Oh, that's great. And how would you describe your music and your style?
Um, I would say it's hard, isn't it? Because I don't. We get branded a lot as, like. I mean, I feel like I'm getting old now, because I normally just class anything with screaming in as metal, but obviously you've
Yeah.
got all the subgenres. But I'd say we're sort of like metalcore, post-hardcore. Like, our first single we released back. Um, Ironically, that doesn't sound anything like all the stuff we've got coming out. That's very much the outlier in our material.
Yeah.
And it was a bit risky putting that out first, but I think me and Ben wrote that before the other two boys joined. And then when Jay and Chris joined and we were all sort of writing together, I'd say we found our sound more. But yeah, we were kind of hoping it was gonna, anybody who listened to us before, you know what it's like when a band releases something a bit different, it's like, oh, they've sold out, or they're trying to like copy this band, or you know,
Yeah.
everyone always says, oh, they're trying to be like Bring Me. And we were sort of hoping for that reaction a little bit, but it went down really well. But yeah, all the new stuff is like completely different. It's just very, I don't know, for fans of like, you know, Beartooth, Polaris. Yeah, I'd say metalcore, I think, is what we'd be classed as.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And it's funny when people say, but bands sell out. I mean, within the space of 10 years, of course, your preferences are going to change. And of course, bands will evolve, whether they were a band throughout that whole time or not. They're going to change and evolve into something else.
Yeah, and I think we sort of I think we were guilty before of, you know, we would write and be like, oh, is this us? And like, is this current? And you know, will this go down well? And the one thing I'm enjoying it better now is like we never ever have that conversation. It's just if we write it, it's us. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not, you know, we're not doing it. I think before, especially me, I know in the early days of our band, we'd be writing and I would always in the back of my mind be thinking, oh, is this going to go down well? Like what are people going to think? Whereas like now, I think it comes with age maybe, but we don't, not that we don't care. Obviously we hope people like it, but I think just as long as we all dig it, then, you know, like if we release something and people hate it, then at least we've sort of been true to ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah. And speaking of hate, I guess your track that you've got online at the moment, Hate Yourself, which is online with a music video, and you've also got the stripped version. Loving the passion behind that track. And I mean, I would ask what the track's about, but I suppose it's a bit obvious when you read the lyrics and the title. But what drove you to write such a track?
I think a lot of my stuff, when I write lyrics, to be honest with you, a lot of stuff I'll never sit down and like write. I wouldn't sort of have a bit of music and be like, right, I need to write lyrics for this. I tend to just like jot stuff down as I go along. Like throughout the days, I'll maybe hear something somebody said, or I'll, you know, think of a lyric. But it's especially being on my own mental health journey, like the last couple of years, I think naturally that's obviously going to come across in my lyrics. So yeah, it was just sort of, it kind of just all fitted well with the music, the vibe of it. You know, it's kind of not an upbeat song. You know, it's kind of got that like somber feel to it. So yeah, it was just like a bit of a jumble of lyrics I had. I think I had the chorus line, and then I kind of fitted everything around that. So, but yeah, it's one of those things. It kind of just like falls into place, really.
Well, I'm assuming that you're going to have some music to follow, an EP or an album or something.
Yeah, so we're currently. I've just finished mixing and mastering our next song. So we're going to be setting a date for that soon. We've got loads of stuff written. I think what we're probably going to do, to be honest, is we're just going to release singles for the time being. Like me personally, I think unless you're a huge band, I think albums and EPs can sometimes be a bit wasted. You know, each to their own. But it's like, you know, saying about Bring Me, like their album, I know I've listened to their new album in full. And when you listen to it as a full album, it's great and it makes sense. But if you go in and listen to it and skip all the singles you've already heard, it's not going to make a lot of sense. And I think I'm guilty of it. When bands release albums, I'll normally like, if it doesn't caught me like 15, 20 seconds, I'll skip the song. So I think we're going to focus more on releasing singles. And yeah, I think we'll probably do that for the foreseeable, to be honest. I mean, if it was up to me, I can't see us releasing an EP or an album anytime soon, unless we signed to a label and they wanted to give us a load of money, then great. But
I mean, that makes sense. You know, when you have smaller bands releasing singles, I mean, way of social media and everything these days, you know, people constantly scrolling and just finding tracks that way. And yeah, when you think about it, a lot of the bigger artists these days, they just drop albums out of nowhere because they can, and they know
Yeah,
people listen to it, but they don't have to tease with singles if they don't.
yeah, that's it. It's a lot harder when you're, when you're a smaller band, but we're taking like the DIY approach. So we record everything. I record everything at my house, and then we're mixing and mastering it ourselves. The music videos, Hate Yourself, a lady called Marianne Harris, who actually managed us, she shot that, and she did an amazing job. Because again, I think as we get older, it's harder to, when you spend so long on something, especially like music, to then hand it off to somebody else and then try create a sound that you envision it's really hard. So I think, yeah, we're going to just go with the whole DIY approach and just do everything ourselves. And I think people like that though. And
Yeah,
it's like, I think while She Sleeps always come to mind as a band. They're very like DIY, do everything in house, and I always really respect that about bands that do that. So yeah, I think we're constantly on it. We're always like meeting up. We're always writing and doing stuff. So yeah, I think we're just going to pump stuff out ourselves, and yeah, hopefully gain some traction.
fair enough. What is the most amazing live show experience that When We Were Wolves have had to date? I know you've probably only just been on this short tour, but what really stands out the most to you?
um, we did loads of cool stuff back in the day. Like, we did like 2000 Trees. That was a highlight. Um, I think probably one of the bigger things we did, we toured with the Blackout. They were kind enough to take us on tour years ago. And I think that was our first sort of like taste of, a bigger tour, and, things being organized and there actually being people there. So for me, whenever somebody asks like what my favorite thing is, I would say that, because they were such a nice band as well. Like the first, I suppose, big band we toured with, we were like really nervous. We were super green. We showed up like, quite nervous, and they were just, obviously they're from same area as us. So, straight into our dressing room, like really welcoming. So that always sticks out for me as like a really fond memory of doing a whole tour
Yeah,
with them. A band I like grew up listening to as well. Like it's a weird like full circle moment.
yeah, those moments are always good in life. So
Yeah.
we've got Download Festival coming up. What would your tip be for any festivals going along to Download this year?
Anybody going to Download?
Yeah,
Uh, just pack for all weathers,
yeah,
because you never know with Download. Like I think the last few years it's been absolutely boiling, and I don't know what's worse. I don't know whether I prefer it raining, or obviously somewhere in between would be ideal. But yeah, just pack for all weathers, and be prepared for the best and worst 5 days of your life. Like physically, it can be really hard, especially like I'm 31 now, and unless I'm sleeping in like a nice comfortable bed, I wake up with a bad back. So I'm going to be a bit more prepared this year, and go a bit more luxurious, should we say, with like an air bed rather than just sleeping on the floor. But yeah, just being prepared and just throw yourself into it. Do you know what I mean? Just like really soak everything up, because Download is like it's the best festival I've ever been to. Have you
yeah,
been to Download? Assuming you have.
100% for the last 10 years and more,
Oh,
probably.
really?
Yeah,
So
so
good, isn't it? It's
yeah,
so like just everybody. Like I've never seen any trouble at Download, any like bad vibes. Um, it's great. It's like my holiday every year, basically. I love it.
yeah,
I absolutely love
same. I mean, I can't imagine actually not going because it's just part of, your annual calendar. It just it's there.
it. Yeah, I
People,
didn't go. I missed it like a year or two ago. And for those 5 days, it was awful. I just had to stay off social media because seeing everybody post
devastated.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, like the FOMO was unreal. So yeah, I literally can't wait. I've done none of my shopping yet though, so I actually need to get myself organized. But yeah.
Same. But people don't want to forget their wellies either, because if it does rain, that mud, you literally can't survive without wellies. Just
No, I'd say wellies, wet wipes, and a good tent as well. Never cheap out on your tent. I've seen so many friends in the past make that mistake of like, oh, a little
yeah,
pop. It's like that can completely ruin your weekend. So yeah, definitely a good tent, and yeah, some sensible footwear and some sanitary stuff. And I think
yeah,
you're good there.
and
Anything
sun
else?
cream.
And sun cream,
Yeah,
definitely.
cool. All right. Well, what can people expect next from When We Were Wolves? Have you got anything coming up or?
We're going on tour in October. We're on tour with Chugaboom,
Nice.
Waterlines, and a band called Overthrown. It's what's it called? The New Blood Tour. That's it. Which we're really looking forward to. We've got a couple of one-off dates coming up, and then yeah, just loads of new music. I think we're feeling really creative. You know, it's like I'd say we've got our next 3 singles pretty much ready. So we're just in the stages of like planning videos and whatever. But
Yeah,
we're always sending stuff back and forth. Like our guitarist will send me like a video of like 2 a.m. of like a riff, and I'm like, right, get to my house tomorrow. We need to work on that. So I think just like lots of new music and just trying to play as much as we can. To be honest with you, like that's the main reason why we do it, is to play live. That's the
yeah,
best bit of it. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So
All
hopefully
right.
see more of us.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for speaking to Ramsey today. And
That's
best
okay.
of luck
Thanks
with
for having me.
everything. We'll be keeping an eye out for all those singles and videos coming out.
Thank you.
Cool. All right.
Thank you
Cheers.
for having me.
No problem.
Bye.